Predict and tell. This is also fun learning. It is an exercise which sometimes proves to be a game for the learners, especially when they are at the primary school level. And it is very, very popular among the primary school kids all over the world. Predict and tell may be done by reading a book, or it can also be done by pictures. If the teacher uses some pictures to illustrate a story, she can just put those pictures on the board or on the screen or on the wall and then ask the students to predict what is happening in those pictures. The kids really love to do that, especially the primary school children. They love to look at the picture and they can imagine a lot and just predict what is happening. The teacher can also give them a beginning sentence in order to help those students who do not have much imagination. By giving the first sentence or the beginning sentence to the students, it may help them to create something after listening or reading the first sentence of a story. But sometimes the students do not really even need the first sentence. When they look at the picture, they can start predicting what is happening. There is a man there on the horse and he is going to ride, and then they can continue with the story if they look at a picture where they see a man riding on the horse. And sometimes those children who are exposed to more fiction or stories in space, they can always build up their own stories and just can predict and tell what is going to happen. Also, at secondary level and higher school level, the teachers can use this exercise with a bit of advancement. They can give a short paragraph which could be either the beginning of the story, it could be the middle of the story, and it could be the ending of the story. The learners are asked to look at that piece of text, which is either the beginning, middle, or the end of the story, and then imagine for themselves what would have happened before or what would have happened after the text that is given. This exercise not only creates a word building exercise, it also creates a lot of imagination, creativity, and also if the students are doing it in a group, then it also builds up teamwork in them. They can work in a group and they can imagine and discuss what could be happening, the predictions, and telling what is happening later on. Maybe they would argue on that, and that would also improve their language abilities and also add to their vocabulary. So this exercise of predict and tell helps the students to build up their vocabulary, helps them to build up their language skills, it helps them to imagine, it helps them to create, and it helps them, if they are working in a group, to have discussions and learn how to argue and come to a decision. They, as well as all these advantages, they also learn how to look at the things that they are predicting might be predicted by some other person in a different manner. So that means their minds are opening. They are creating something, somebody else is creating something, they look at it, they compare it, they say whether their prediction was right or whether the other person was able to give a better prediction or the other person gave a better ending to their story. So this way the mind opens up and it is trained to accept other people's opinions, other people's imaginations, and also it trains the learner to accept that there can be more than one view on a certain situation. They are not limited. They can be creative and they would be able to accept other people's creations. They would be able to use more vocabulary. This exercise, I would suggest, should be done more at the secondary and higher level in groups. Whereas the primary school children, they can do it individually, or if the teacher wants them to do it in a group, even that would be a good suggestion. But for the higher school children and for the secondary school children, it gives them more opportunity to discuss, and thus also improve on their language skills, speaking skills, group work, playing, being a good player in the team, and also building up a lot of tolerance and acceptance, which is actually the meaning of education at the end of the day.